And first, I'm just wanting to make sure that you're being entertained while you're waiting for everything to come online. I'll tell you a little story while we're waiting. Does it say Facebook is up?
So you have 2 people watching on Facebook.
Woo! We are live on Facebook.
Could be Leanne and Karen.
Ah, we don't have very many viewers right now, but for those of you who are live with us right now, I'll tell you a little story. It's probably not that interesting, but I'll share it with you anyway. My son Max running the camera today, trying to learn every aspect of the business and also educate himself on how to organize paper. Is also starting his own YouTube channel about his experience as a new soon-to-be college grad, working his way into the workplace and trying to figure out what to do and when and how to do it to move out of, I don't know, life paid for by mom into life paid for by Max. Anyway, as soon as he gets that up and going, he gets the YouTube channel up and going, I'll share it with you. And if you have any kids, maybe high school age, getting ready to go into college, or college kids who are wondering, you know, there is a lot of stress for kids, right, in that senior year area of what am I going to do now that I'm going to be responsible for myself, and how am I going to make all those decisions? So Max is going to give that a shot, and with a little YouTube channel. So you can follow his shenanigans learning. What's the problem, Max?
I'm having YouTube problems.
Oh, no. If you're trying to follow us on YouTube, Leanne, just ask Karen to put a message up on YouTube with a link to Facebook that says, if you're trying to follow us here, don't. So YouTube, we're struggling with YouTube, but that's okay, because if you like to watch on YouTube, you can't hear me anyway, so it doesn't really matter what I say. I'm going to get started, though. So Facebook is up and live stream is up. And those are, excuse me, those are where the majority of our followers are, and we will post a video on YouTube. So have you hit record, Max?
Yep.
All right, let's go. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Tuesday Live. And our Tuesday Live presentations are kind of a combination of education and I have a glass of water because I have a little tickle in my throat. Education and product knowledge. So today we are going to talk about paper organization. Lots of you have been online with me before for paper organization class. So this is kind of the down and dirty, fast and furious paper organization class. But I have a couple of new little tips if you've joined me before, things you may not have seen unless you've watched very recently. So when we talk about paper organization, we're going to work with the 3 sections of the 4-section system. So if you're unfamiliar with the 4-section system, look for a link. Karen will hunt one up and put it on the feed. And then also in the blog post that follows, we'll put a link to the 4-section system in the blog post that follows. I'm going to write that down on my list, link, so I don't forget. So from the 4-section system, we're only using 3 sections: themes and sentiments, calendar year, and the rainbow. So the first thing that you're going to do to get your paper organized is you are going to create a themes and sentiments list. These are all the things that you craft about organized alphabetically. So everything from ancestry to family, football, sports, zoo, anything that you craft about. Now this is going to be different for everybody. So you can, Karen's going to put up a link to this particular list, so you can use that as a jumping off point. But remember, it needs to be the things that you craft about, and it needs to be the words that make sense to you. So when I say that, this says beach on it, which is pretty common. People think of beach as seashells and sun and sand and waves and that type of thing. But my sister organizes all of her beach things under O for ocean, which I would be completely lost with if I put those under O for ocean. She's a scuba diver, so she thinks about it differently. So the words in your list need to make sense to you so that you can find your things. So you're going to create your themes and sentiments list, and then you're going to gather up some things that you are going to need to help yourself get organized. One thing is going to be a couple of sets of dividers. So this is our paper storage box divider set. It is a set of 10. When you get them, they come packaged like this. So it looks like it's only a set of 5, but when you open it up and flip them around, you will see that you have got a set of 10. You can make your dividers out of 12 by 12 cardstock or old, the backs of scrap pads, 12 by 12 scrap pads using sticky notes. The 12 by 12 dividers work great. And then you can reuse them as permanent dividers in your system once you're organized. So you need something to create dividers with. I also use sticky notes, which you already know. And I'm going to use my, what do we call this? We call it a label maker, right? So if you're a little bit obsessed with how things look, a label maker is going to be helpful. And then you can use paper sticky notes instead of, these are plastic. The reason I like plastic sticky notes over paper sticky notes, and I'm sorry if some of you have heard this a bazillion times, but plastic sticky notes don't fold over and get bent, creased, and stay folded over. So they always just pop back up. So if they do get, in between something else, they're not going to fold over. So you'll always be able to read them. So plastic sticky notes, we make them. They're called Shut Your Flap Tabs, but you can buy them at any office supply store as well. So you're going to need some of those. You're going to use your list and your labeling tabs and your sticky notes to create your sorting dividers. If I can pick them up. So you can see here, if we could get some zoom, I promise not to move these too quickly. I use my label maker to create the labels for the colors because I know those are not going to change, right? So I just permanently labeled those with the colors. Then I used my themes and sentiments list, and this isn't all of my themes and sentiments, obviously. It's just kind of an abbreviated version to create A, B, C, D, S, T, right? So those kind of follow along with my themes and sentiments list, and then, of course, the calendar year. So my themes and sentiments, I would have many more dividers than this. I'm just trying to keep it simple for a class. So your themes and sentiments list, though, is going to tell you whether or not you need X, Y, Z as one of your tabs. So when I first did this, I made a divider for every letter of the alphabet, which isn't necessary because I actually only used about 12 letters to create in my themes and sentiments. So once you get that done, and here's kind of the new little twist, then I created things that I knew I had a lot of things for. How is that, Max? Woo, woo, woo. Baby Beach Birthday, I use bigger tabs to create those. And I'm going to take those and I'm going to stick them right on my B divider. So as I'm sorting paper and I come across these categories of paper, I can integrate those right in right away. So if I come across beach paper, I can put it in there, put that on beach, keep filing, and then when I come across something else, baby, I'm going to be able to create my subcategories very quickly, and I'll also be able to use these when I permanently label everything, right? So I've got the same thing over here. I've got sports, which I'm going to put on my S tab. So I know I'm going to separate out sports in S. And then I also know that I have a variety of different sports. I have basketball and football as examples. So when I find those papers, I'm going to be able to sort and organize that way as well. So themes and sentiments list, dividers, label tabs, and some sort of box. And I'm going to really encourage you to go vertical, choose some vertical storage boxes. Now, these are our classic paper storage boxes, and they work perfect for sorting and organizing paper. I know a lot of you like to permanently store your paper in Fab Files and paper handlers, which I'll talk about later. But these work great for sorting because you can collapse them down and store them when you're not doing a sorting project, right? So take it from me, you're going to start sorting your paper now. You probably have enough paper that it's going to take you several times to sort your paper. And this system allows, you can just collapse it flat and store it. And the next time you're ready to organize paper, pop your boxes back up. Here's a little tip. Start with just one box, right? And the reason you want to start with one box, there's a couple reasons. The first one is it's small and easy to manage, okay? If you set up all 5 of your paper boxes, you've got this big area to work with versus just working in this small area. The other thing is, as you add paper, you want your paper to stand up. And if you have one sheet of paper in that big paper storage box, it's going to kind of slump down as you're organizing, and then you're going to have to pull it up every time you try to add a new paper. So start with just one box with all the dividers in it. Now, my paper is kind of a cheater because I just pulled it out of my paper stash, but so here we go. First, and then get a stack of paper, Get a stack of paper. I'm going to really encourage you to start with just 2 or 3 inches of paper and sort the whole stack and then put it into your permanent storage system if you're going to move it. But just keep working in those small, bits of paper, because once you get that done, you'll feel good. Ooh, I got something done. And checking things off your list is motivating to your brain, and it'll keep you moving forward, because some of us have so much paper that the idea of organizing it is really overwhelming. Okay, so you're going to go to your paper stack and you're going to start sorting. So my first paper up is beach. I'm going to go to my B section. I'm going to find that little sticky note I made that said beach. Sorry, I'm doing this backwards. And I'm going to stick it to that, right? My next paper, this is a spring and Easter paper. So I'm just going to go back here to my calendar year section that says spring, again, upside down. No. I'm going to have to spin my box a little here. Put spring. Spring is a green one. That's convenient. So I've got the spring paper that's going in spring. And now I've got some fall paper. Now within fall, this would be a great place to have a section or sticky notes that say Halloween, Thanksgiving, back to school. If you think about back to school that way, I know some people think about back to school as just school. And then you could segment that off right away, right? So my kids are a little older. I don't really do anything with Halloween anymore. I don't have a lot of Halloween stuff. So I would just have probably fall and Thanksgiving on my sticky notes. But again, one of the beautiful things about using the 4-section system is that as your life changes and the things you're scrapbooking about change or card making about change, those things change, it's really easy to add categories in or take categories out. Right, now I'm on to colors. So I've got reds here. I'm going to take that red paper. It's going to go right behind the red tab. And now orange paper. Don't you wish it was always this easy, right? If you just take the paper out of your paper collection in order, you can put it back in order pretty easy. Okay, what do you do with specialty papers? So this is actually a red velvet paper. It's textured, but I wanted to protect it, so I just put it into a supersized single pocket, and now the edges and corners as well as the velvet are protected, but it's still red. I made a little sticky note. I'm going to switch it over to this side or the top because of the way I'm filing, and I'm going to go back to red, and I'm going to put it in the back of the red section. So my advice to you is when you're organizing your paper is to go light to dark in your solids, light to dark, and then prints and patterns and specialty papers behind that, and try to stay consistent. Alphabetizing, it's an easy way to do it. So you might have distressed, dots, plaids, stripes, florals is going to be before distress and dots. Just do it consistently, so when you thumb through, you're going to see those printed and patterned papers behind the colored papers. This is a whole collection of national parks paper. Again, I put it in a supersized single pocket page. I added a little tab to it that says national parks, and I'm just going to go right to the travel section, and I'm going to drop it behind that. Well, T, the only thing in T for me is travel, so it's all there. More travel paper. This is vacation paper. Again, you can see that this has this nice die cut edge, so I want to protect it. I put it into a paper pocket. I'm going to go back to the travel section. I'm just going to pop it in there in the travel section. Now the paper pocket has a little tab on the end, on the edge here, that I can also label that with as well. This is an entire travel collection that I popped into a paper pocket. You can tell travel paper is my thing, but you want to keep things together you use together. So putting an entire collection into a pocket is a great way to be able to pull that entire collection at one time when you want to work with it. More travel. This is a collection keeper, and it's loaded with a whole collection of things from Mexico. It's already labeled on the side. I'm going to drop it back into the travel section here. And then I'm just going to continue to work through. So all the paper in my stack. So I've got pink. I'm going to go to red and pink. I mean, right behind red to pink and drop that in. I'm doing this all backwards, so hopefully I'm ending it up in the right place, right? Yellows, greens. You're just going to continue to file that way. Once your first box gets too full that it's difficult to add things to, then take a second paper storage box and sort of divide things in half. I'm going to turn this around this way so you can see over the edge, right? So, and then keep filing. And once the 2 boxes fill up, you're going to do the same thing again, just split the boxes and add another one. So you can grow. These come in sets of 5. You can grow the whole set of 5, but you don't want to do it all at once, right? So keep it manageable, easier to file. Papers are standing up as you work through, and then as they fill up, you just expand out. But you're always able to keep it in that 4-section system. Okay, so what are the big issues when we're organizing paper? Stacks are an issue. Do I have a 12 by 12 stack back here? I do not think I do. I do have an 8.5 by 11 stack though. So I am not a huge advocate. This is just rainbow paper, right? I am not a huge advocate of pulling your stacks apart. But what I am a huge advocate of is making sure that they are with the rest of your paper rather than stuffed into a closet somewhere where you're going to forget that you even have them. So this stack is all rainbow paper. So once I get all my paper sorted, I'm just going to integrate that stack right in between the paper storage boxes. So if this is all rainbow paper, then I'm going to put this right in front of the rainbow storage box or right behind it, but it's right in there. If I want to put a little sticky note on it that sticks off the side that says rainbow cardstock, I could do that as well. But now, just by virtue of the fact that it's with the rest of my paper, I'm going to remember that I have it and I'm going to use it. Hopefully, that's what I'm going to do. And you're going to do the same thing regardless of what it is. So that's a rainbow stack. This is a Halloween stack, right? So the Halloween stack can just go, you can just go right back here to your fall section, if you can find it, and you can add that right in with the rest of your fall things right into your paper storage box, right? If you're using your paper storage boxes on their back, like this, you can still integrate that paper stack, right? With this one, I actually use some Halloween washi tape. And so instead of labeling the little sticky note tab, I just put a piece of Halloween washi tape on there that said Halloween. And then I can just integrate it right back in to the right category. Now, some people freak out about mixing paper sizes, right? 8.5 by 11, 6 by 6, 8 by 8, 12 by 12. They don't like that. You don't have to incorporate those paper sizes in, but what's important is that you do continue to keep things in the same section. So you might have a 6 by 6 paper collection and 8.5 by 11 and 12 by 12, right? Maybe they're on 3 shelves. But what you still want to have rainbow, themes and sentiments, calendar year. Now, the upside to that is it's pretty and cute. The downside to it is when you're going to work on Halloween, you have to pull your 12 by 12 fall storage box, 8.5 by 11, and 6 by 6. Maybe you only have 2. I don't know. Maybe you have 4 because there's also 8 by 8. But as long as they're all in that 4-section system, it's easy to say, okay, I need, my fall box for all 3 sizes to bring these 3 to your workspace and have your paper organized all in one place. So you can completely integrate all the sizes of paper in a 12 by 12 box, or you can use 3 different sizes of boxes to organize your paper, whatever you're more comfortable with. Sometimes cute wins out over efficient. I know it. Hard to admit, but I do know it. Okay, so we talked about stacks. Let's talk about scraps. What do you do with your scraps? Again, I want you to integrate your scraps right into your section if you can. So this is a Scrapmaster if you haven't seen it yet, right? This one is obviously full of blue scraps. Big pocket on the front, smaller pockets on the inside, slash pocket for easy access, big pocket on the outside. I'm going to take my blue Scrapmaster and I'm going to store it right here with the rest of my blue paper. So now when I'm working with blue, or I want a blue scrap, I don't have to look in the scrap drawer, the scrap basket, the scrap bin, the scrap file. What else have people told me they have their scraps spread around in? My blue scraps are right with my blue paper. If I had Halloween scraps, they would be in a Scrapmaster that said Halloween right there in the fall section. So it becomes really easy to integrate your scraps. And when you finish a project, you know where those scraps go. Finished with my Halloween project, I'm going to take my Halloween scraps and I'm going to throw them right into my Scrapmaster in the Halloween section, right? Makes it super simple. You don't have to use a Scrapmaster. You can use something as easy and as low maintenance, but not as cute, as a file folder. So this is all red and pink scraps, right? When you open it up, there's all those red and pink scraps. Little tab at the side that says scraps. Just behind my red tab, I'm just going to slide that in. I don't know if you can see that, Maxfield. But there's just a little tab right there sticking out now that says scrap. So I can just file my red scraps in there. If you're doing something like a file folder, I'm going to really recommend that you put your smallest scraps in the front, biggest scraps in the back, and you'll see the most. It doesn't even matter that this is only an 8.5 by 11 file folder, because even if I had scraps in there that were still 12 inches long, right? Even if they stick out the back like that, it doesn't matter because your box is 12 by 12. And when you pull out the scrap file, you're just going to pull it out and there's going to be that extra long scrap. So you can go with Scrapmasters, easy, cute, and visual, or you can go with something as simple as a file folder, but integrate your scraps right in with the rest of your paper storage system. Okay, what have I missed here on my list? I think I'm in good shape. If you have questions, you can always ask Karen and she will try to bring those questions up before we finish the presentation today. We also are having a giveaway. Woo! And I believe the giveaway goes until Thursday. And again, call out Terry Wiegand because Terry said, I'm always working on Tuesday. Can you run the contest longer so I can watch after work and enter? So there is an enter to win form that's following the, that's in the text, and it will be also in the other posts where the video is and on the blog. So you will have until, I think, Thursday at midnight to enter, and we're going to give away 5 paper organizer sets. So be sure you enter. You may be one of our lucky winners. Okay. Got it? How to organize fast and furious. Follow those easy steps. And again, you can read the blog post below this video and it will take you through all of those steps with a few pictures of all the things that I've been working with today. It's just going to take a day or two to get all those pictures integrated in there, but you'll be able to find it. So now let's talk about products. What are the best products for you to use and why? I hate to beat a dead horse, but one of the most important things to know is what kind of crafter are you? Are you Kathy Craft Room and you are always going to stay at home with your craft supplies? If so, the paper storage boxes are a perfect option for you. Okay. Come in a set of 5 like this. They work great with our paper storage box dividers. There's 10 dividers in this package. These are great for people who always stay at home, who aren't moving things on and off their shelf, who aren't constantly moving things around, right? They're cardboard. They're going to last a lifetime on your shelf. But if you're constantly moving them around, then you're going to cause some breakdown in the material. It's not as efficient. If you're moving things around all the time, you probably want to use one of our other products. These are on sale this week. All of our paper storage products are on sale this week. These two items are also available at Hobby Lobby and Joann's. So, well, you can get them on our website. I know there's a 40 off coupon at the big retailer. So Hobby Lobby has, all the Hobby Lobbies have them. Bigger Joann's stores have this product as well. So paper storage box and paper storage box dividers. Now, even if you're someone who travels all the time with your paper and you're using a paper handler or a Fab File, which I'll show you in a minute, because as I mentioned when I was doing the presentation, because these fold so flat, and also because you probably won't get through organizing all of your paper in one quick 5-minute time frame like I did, these are great as a tool for organizing. So you may set them up, use them to organize, label the dividers using sticky notes so you can change the labels on them more easily, and then put them away until you're ready to organize again. So some of you have taken the Get Organized Challenge know that it's taken a few times to get through organizing your 10,000 sheets of paper. So these are a great, if you think of them as an organizing tool that can just be used over and over again each time you do a cleanup on your craft room or kind of a revamp. And they can also be used permanently if you're using them on a shelf. They do fit in, as all of our things do, they do fit in the IKEA Calyx and the IKEA Expedit. Who's out there? It's Part. My husband's here. Should we try to get him on air?
No.
He says no. No, he's not coming. Come on, honey. No. He's very surly. If any of you were with us in Chantilly last weekend, you know he's a little bit surly. But he's just so cute. I can hardly stand it. All right. So paper storage boxes and paper storage box dividers. Great option. Karen is also posting a link to the on special category, which is going to have all of these items on sale on our website. And that sale goes through Sunday of this week. All right. Would you like me to tell the ladies what you're doing over there? My husband is a clown, everyone. If you haven't met him, he's surly and also quite the clown. He also has taken up paramotoring. So if you follow him on Instagram, you will see his new paramotoring craziness. All right. And this is what he says. If you don't know what paramotoring is, basically you're strapping a lawnmower engine and a box fan to your back with the thing that's like a wing-shaped parachute, and you just run along the ground, hit the gas, and fly off into the sky. So he told my son the other day, hey, if you don't see me in the sky, check the obituaries, right? Okay, paper handlers come in 3 sizes. They all include they don't include. They come in 3 sizes, 12 by 12, 8.5 by 11, and 6 by 6. You can also get scrap pockets to go with all 3 sizes. So these two come just the box, just the pockets, or a combo of the box and the pockets. So you'll see that on the website as well. So 6 by 6, 8.5 by 11. The 8.5 by 11 is actually 8.5 by 11 A4. So it's wide enough for 8.5 by 11 and tall enough for A4. So if you use papers from abroad, you are going to love this. This box also fits perfectly. A lot of times when you buy the UK magazines at the big box stores, they have that A4, the big sheet of stamps, and they're almost impossible to store. Those big sheets of stamps will also fit in this pocket as well. The 12 by 12 paper handler comes by itself. We also make 12 by 12 tab divider pockets. Actually, the tab divider pockets come in all of these sizes. So depending on what you're trying to accommodate, there's 12 by 12, 8.5 by 11 vertical, 8.5 by 11 horizontal, 8 by 8, 6 by 6, and 5 by 7. So whatever size paper or scraps you're trying to store together, any of the pockets are going to work for that. All right, those are all on the on the specials page too if they're a paper organizing special. So you've got the paper handlers there. Next up are Fab Files. And Fab Files come again in multiple sizes. So this is 12 by 12. 12 by 12 includes the 12 by 12 tabbed divider pockets. This is the 8.5 by 11 A4, which is horizontal instead of vertical like the paper handler. Now, why would you want Fab Files over paper handlers? It just depends on how you craft, where you craft, who you craft with, all of those things. Again, check out our little blog post, what kind of crafter am I? If you need to keep things closed up, I know some of you store things in your garage or out in the shed. The paper handlers are perfect because they have the Fab Files are perfect because they have a lid, so it helps keep things neat and tidy, especially if you're moving them around all the time. If you usually craft at home, but you also travel, the paper handlers are open for easy access in your space at home. Handles pop up so you can drop it into your tote or pull it out of your tote, whatever you need to do. So these also have a little handle if you're moving them around. So you've got the 12 by 12, the 8.5 by 11 A4. You've got 8 by 8 in the Fab File. And 6 by 6 as well. So again, depending on all those things, where you craft, where you store your materials, you may want to use Fab Files, or if you can keep things open, paper handlers are a great option for that as well. Now, I did show you, as we were going through the how-to part of the presentation, a couple of different things. One of them was the paper pocket. So the paper pocket is designed to fit in the 12 by 12 Fab File or in the paper storage box. It has a little tab, 3 tabs on the side. You get them in a set of 3. They'll hold 10 sheets of paper or cardstock. That's 12 by 12. They have the little flip tuck top here on them. So that is a paper pocket. The SKU on this is P25. Again, it's going to be on the On Specials page, so you can get all the details there as well. The other thing I showed you with the Mexico collection in it was the collection keeper. So this item has 3 pockets on the front, 7.25 by 6.5, 4.5 by 6.5, 12 by 6. They all have the little flap. I can open it from, right? They all have the little tucked flap to hold them closed. Here's a little tip on this. When you, and you're going to have to zoom in on this, Max. When you purchase these, this flap, the top flap is all one piece, right? It all comes up together like this. I always cut a little notch in mine right here so that I can lift this one all the way up without having to lift up this one, right? So if they're tucked in. So there's your little tip for watching today if you're using collection keepers. And then you can just tuck your tabs in, and that's going to hold your flaps closed there. So the collection keeper, again, is going to hold 10 sheets of paper. And then whether you have smaller pieces, cutouts, die cuts, whatever that match the paper, maybe some stickers or other flat things, they're going to fit in the collection keeper. I'm going to have Max spin that camera and get you in full view, honey. Okay, side loader single. This fits in your scrap rack. This is a 12 by 12 paper pocket that opens from the side. So depending on where you have your scrap rack positioned, people love this pocket page because it just adds a little bit more stability to your scrap rack. It'll hold about 20 sheets of cardstock. Now, cardstock comes in, I don't know, a lot of different thicknesses, and paper is extremely thin compared to cardstock. So while you're going to get 20 sheets of cardstock in here, you could probably get 30 or 35 sheets of paper in there as well. Side loader single, you saw this. I use this to protect my velvet, supersize single. My son is giving me the no behind the camera. Supersize single. This is a basic scrap rack storage page. You get 10 of them for $12. It's called the P40 is the SKU on it. It works great for protecting paper. You can leave the 3-hole punch thing on it if you're going to put it in your paper storage box, or you can cut it off. But it just serves as a level of protection on your paper. You saw this with the National Parks paper. I took all of that whole collection and put it in one of these so I could keep the collection together. So whether you're storing them in your scrap rack, which I will come back to because that's part of the organization thing that I left off, or storing them in paper storage boxes, you can use a supersize single for either of those things. And then, of course, last but not least, the other thing that I talked about in the presentation was the Scrapmaster. And here's that one full of Halloween scraps and paper. So you could, if this is as much Halloween paper as you have, you can put your scraps and your paper together, and now you can drop that right into your paper organizing boxes, tabbed, and have the Halloween paper in the middle, and then the scraps for that match that collection on the outside. Scrapmaster also comes in a set of 5, so it has 5 tabs. Also on sale this week. Also, you're going to find it on the On Special page. One thing I get asked about regularly that I didn't cover in the beginning is what do I do? I keep all my paper in paper storage boxes? Do I keep all my paper in my scrap rack? How does that all work? You're going to have to determine what's best for you. So for me, I put small collections right into my scrap rack. If I have 10 sheets of St. Patrick's Day paper, it's going to be right in the calendar year section of my scrap rack in March with a few stickers and a few other St. Patrick's Day embellishments that I've got. It's right there in my scrap rack, right? Travel, I'm a travel paper junkie. I have an entire paper handler just full of travel paper. Well, I don't want to weigh down my scrap rack with all that travel paper, right? So I've got the travel section with all of my embellishments and stickers and all of that kind of stuff. And then I've got the travel. My husband is also getting in trouble harassing my son, who's supposed to be running the camera and not laughing in the background. Okay, so the travel paper in a whole box. So I'm going to bring that to my workspace, and then I'm going to flip to the travel section of my scrap rack, and I'm going to have everything I need quick and easy right in front of me, right? So the answer is boxes or scrap rack. For most of us, it's going to be a combination of the two. Smaller paper categories are going to go in the scrap rack. Larger paper categories are going to go in your paper storage boxes. All right, I think I've covered everything. I don't hear Karen coming upstairs with any questions. Maybe, honey, you could make yourself useful and ask her if she's got anything that she needs to bring upstairs. These guys, my husband and my son, are such clowns. They're totally behind the camera, just clowning around, not really. So, okay, so he's not going to go downstairs and ask, so I'm just going to wrap it up. So thanks so much for tuning in today. Don't forget to fill out the Enter to Win form that is underneath this the video. So whether you're watching on Facebook or YouTube or live stream, Karen's put that post up on all those places. So you can click on that link and get to the Enter to Win. We will be giving away 5 paper storage systems. And that will happen on Friday. So Thursday is the end day for entering. Max has a question. What's your question, Max?
Terry asked, if you want to purge through all your paper, should you take it all out and start from scratch, or just do it section by section?
So Terry asked, if you're going to purge through your paper, do you want to take it all out, or do you want to start section by section? I'm going to tell you, I'm a huge advocate for doing things in small bites, right? If you take out all of that paper, then you have that great big mess, and then your brain goes, oh my gosh, that is going to take forever. I can't believe I started this. I never had the time. All these things are going to go on in your head, and you're going to sabotage yourself. So just take out one section, work through that small 2 or 3 inches of paper, and then put it back. Put your purge wherever you're going to do it. One of the great things, or one of the best things about purging, or one of the helpful things about purging, is deciding where that stuff is going to go before you start cleaning out your stash, right? It's a lot easier to purge things if you can make some emotional connection with where those things are going to go. So if you have grandkids in kindergarten, or kids in grade school, or a local senior center or hospital that you're connected to, all of those places are always looking for craft supplies. So think about, what am I going to do with this purge? And then as you're sorting through things, it's a lot easier to actually give them away.
Does the Scrapmaster fit in the 12 by 12 fab file?
Does the Scrapmaster fit in the 12 by 12 fab file? Yes, it does. It's amazing. When I was at the Chantilly show this week, well, there it is. When I was at the Chantilly show this week, I actually had a gal bring in her 12 by 12 fab file, and she had one Scrapmaster in each fab file, and she had the five projects that she was going to be working with while she was at the crop, each in a fab file, and all the little pieces tucked away in a Scrapmaster. So it's a really easy way to work on that project. I actually think she was, now that I'm talking about it, she was doing charity scrapbooking, actually. So each of those fab files had the person that she was working on the charity scrapbook for, all their stuff together. And it was really kind of a cool little story. But fab files and Scrapmasters work great together, as do the Scrapmaster and the paper handler and the 12 by 12 paper storage box. Okay, so I think we've answered all the questions. Again, there's tons of information on our website. Make sure you do the enter to win. And the paper storage and organization sale runs through Sunday at midnight Pacific time. So make sure you do your shopping before Sunday. We'll try to send you a reminder. Thanks so much for tuning in. I look forward to talking to you again next week.